بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين خصوصا على أمير المؤمنين سيدنا عثمان بن عفان رضي الله تعالى عنه. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. صدق الله العظيم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Now and then you hear about many great personalities, amongst them the most highest ranking, the prophets and the messengers, peace be upon them all, Anbiya alayhimus salam, and also the Ahlul Bayt, the blessed close family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You hear about the great companions and the Sahaba Ikram Rizwanul Alayhim Ajmain. You hear about great scholars, great awliya, great leaders of Islam. But the point to consider is that their success does not make you successful. You can take guidance, you can take inspiration, you can learn from them, you can follow them, but their success does not make you successful. You have to earn your own success. It's like a person who wants to be rich and he or she attends many seminars. Every month they're attending how to be a millionaire, and then how do millionaires live, what's their lifestyle and things, etc. Every month they attend different seminars, lectures, and learn these things. But just doing that and praising the rich people and applauding them and mentioning their stories and how rich they are and how actually what they have achieved and what luxurious lifestyle they are living, this will not even add 1 pound to your pocket or your bank. It won't. You will still be out of pocket money even if you actually attend all this. If you have understood this, then in the same way also understand spiritually it is also same. That you can listen to stories of the spiritually millionaires. These were spiritual millionaires as well, awliya, anbiya alayhimus salam. And you can listen to seminars, go to various madrasa, study, attend lectures, praise them, study their lifestyle and how they lived. But that won't make you any pious unless actually that you also follow their footsteps and make your own life actually, you align it with actually what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you. So don't fall into this trap. Even Anbiya Ikram alayhimus salam, they, in a crystal clear message, they said that we are givers of good news, guidance and glad tidings, and upon us is balag. Balag means to convey the message, to equip you with guidance. And Allah Azza wa Jal said about them that they are Bashir and Nazir, meaning they motivate you, they tell you inform you about how to become successful, and they also warn that what are the dangers. But after that, the ball lies in your court. In every field it's like this. In business, in bad fields, good fields, it is like that. Until you don't do, you are not actually part of it. You have to do something. Even if you want to be in the bad side or good side, shaitanic side or prophetic side, it's all those who have done something. So just sitting idly, doing nothing, will not actually take you anywhere. Temporarily it may benefit. So this is one thing you should be sure of, and the example of that is that there have been many, many wonderful people who passed away in the history and achieved. But at the same time, there were people living in the time of those prophets and messengers, and sometimes they were close relatives of them, but they did not achieve, and they failed, and very badly failed. So much so, listening, okay, you are in a good majlis, that's very good. Now, at one time, one of the jinnat, he was sitting in the majlis of angels, malaika, in a very good place. I mean, what good place can be than Jannah? In Jannah, and what good company can be the angels who don't do any bad and evil. And what did he hear? He was also in presence of a prophet. He did not hear address of scholar or companion or pious. Directly Allah Jalla Majduhu addressed him to do something. Prostrate in front of Adam alayhi salam. And then he chose not to, and the end is quite obvious. And all of you know what's the end, what's happening after that. So, same formula is applied to you and me as well. So we should get out of this trap that just actually mentioning and singing the praise of the pious and the righteous, that is good thing. But that's not good that we end up falling devils and shayateen at the same time. So there is a way to look at these pious people and righteous, that what can I learn? How can I add value to my life? How can I solve something which is stopping me from achieving the closeness to Allah Jalla Majduhu? What is it? Pleasure of Allah. We hear now and then, what is pleasure of Allah? Pleasure of Allah is the rida of Allah, but what is the manifestation, physical manifestation? What does that mean in easy way one to understand? That is Jannah, so vast, big kingdom, which does not only have what you can imagine and what you can think and what you want, but also what you cannot imagine. Because many things we know because we know them. If they were not there, for example, if a fruit called, let's say, mangosteen or apple, what did not exist, we would never know there is a fruit. Still, there are many fruits which we do not know. This sense of smelling fragrance, like when we smell, if it's a good fragrance, we enjoy. If this was Allah had not created it, He only created ears, eyes, mouth, hand. Nose was there, but the sense was not there. Nose was just there for breathe. No one would have known that there is something called smell, fragrance, nice smell, bad smell. But now because it was created, we think it's whatever. So there are so many things in Jannah, in the kingdom. So when we say to someone, come, do this for the pleasure of Allah, do this for the pleasure of Allah, your goal should be the pleasure of Allah. What does it mean in materialistic form, in manifestation? What it means is basically that actually such vast kingdom, living forever, kingship forever, because that's what we want and that's what Allah wants for us as well. He wants to give us at a very high level. We actually want pennies, Allah wants to give us gold and diamonds. We want stones, Allah wants to give us diamond. That is the issue. The akhirah, the paradise is like a diamond. This dunya is like a stone. And it's a stone, not even real stone. It just vanishes whenever it does. It just actually goes off. It's like an artificial person who is created by like not 3D, 4D, 7D with laser and things, and then it just actually vanishes away. This dunya is also like Allah has a deception that it's going to vanish away, and it does vanish for everyone. Everyone who dies, for him the dunya is gone. Nothing. He sees now different, completely different matter. So all his friends, family, other things just actually are not there anymore for them, unless actually the prayers, etc., they actually reach. So when we say, brothers, come to the pleasure of Allah, many people say, what is pleasure of Allah? Pleasure of Allah is not that Allah wants something from us, that Allah is in need of pleasure. It is we are in need of pleasure really. And Allah wants to give us greatest pleasure, because the pleasure of Allah is Jannah. Dunya is not the pleasure of Allah. Dunya person, no one can be pleased here. Even though you have you rule 7 kingdoms here or 7 continents, still you have to go after 100 years, 60 years. Just 2 days before, a very affluent person, rich man, politician, family, he committed suicide. His janazah was just offered, funeral prayer was offered yesterday. What was that? He wrote a letter. He said, I love life, I like life, I want to live. Okay, but then he put a pistol towards his head and actually killed himself. So his letter goes on saying, I love life and I like to live, but I have become ill. I have certain illnesses. My one side is actually being infected of the face. I have walking problem, I have back issues, I have this, I have that. Quality of life have actually decreased. Money is there. Got servants, cooks, cleaners, drivers, car, a house, a bungalow, meaning actually from here like you have like 6-7 bedroom a bungalow. So he have all that actually. He said, I have, but I've lost the actually enjoyment. But I would have lived if I was healthy and things. So then he said, okay, look after this person who used to help me. He said, okay, look after this servant of mine. He used to serve me. He named him that he used to feed me or whatever, look after me. But then he put a pistol in. And that's the letter. So what's the message for me and you, just to make a frowning face? No, the lesson is that having all what actually we want to have here, money, car, things, etc., still peace cannot be found. Because after all, if you have all the wealth, as I said, and you don't have the health, How will you enjoy when you cannot eat, when you cannot actually go somewhere? So that is the reality which obviously he did that what was wrong, because no one was there to guide him. We are saying we should give dawah to people, so I consider my failure that we were not able to reach people like this, who have wealth, but actually they lack a purpose of life and they ended their life like this. So who is failure? It is his failure, but our failure is there as well. We are busy in our life. If we have money, we want to make another million, that's it, another million, that's it, that's another million, that's it, and die. And that it all becomes zero. This is wisdom. This is our intelligence. Rather than actually saying, okay, I have what I need. Like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in one of the hadiths, that that ummati follower is successful who have Islam, meaning he's acting upon the teachings of Islam, and he has sufficient finances to cover his needs, and he just lives like this. He is successful because he got everything, meaning Islam, meaning he has akhirah is saved, he's got bread on his table, food on his table, roof over his head, something to wear. And he said that, Prophet Islam said in the last part of it, and he is content. He is content with it as well, satisfied with it, that for me, I have a whole of the world. If I had the whole of the world, that's what I will be doing. Meaning what I'm eating now, that's probably people will be eating. Because this is dunya, this become everything. If even you eat something which you like, is a special dish for you, if you eat every day, you will become bored from it. Like previously people used to eat outside, sometime they enjoy. Now, if someone starts eating takeaways every day, they will become fed up. This is the same food which you used to enjoy. But this is dunya. So it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran that in Jannah, that kingdom, there is no boredom. There is no boredom from food or from anything whatsoever. Only excitement, only surprises. So I also want to clarify you today, because a lot of people, they keep this, actually it's locked in, they don't understand. When we say, come for the pleasure of Allah, they think Allah needs something, we'll be giving Allah pleasure, but what will we get? We'll get something from dunya. This person is calling all things good, but actually we want pleasure as well. This is not the case. Allah is free, Allah is Allah. When you say Allah's pleasure, this means that Allah is only pleased with to have best for us. He's only pleased with that. His pleasure basically means kingdom of heaven, that's the manifestation. His wrath materializes in the form of hell. Hell is the manifestation of the wrath or the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for us, it's easy to understand that when we say we are doing for pleasure of Allah and what the deen says, and always the akhirah is mentioned, Allah is mentioned, and akhirah, what is akhirah? Akhirah is paradise and hell. So in other words, what is it being said? What we want, that's what Allah wants, something better for us. And not only better, but permanent. You buy something, you say, okay, this thing, you buying this plate, this gadget, no guarantee. It can just actually stop working tomorrow, 2 days after. It's very cheap, people don't buy it, or there's no guarantee. And something has a lifetime guarantee. You say, yeah, I want this. I want something authentic, something solid, lifetime guarantee. Akhirah is lifetime, infinite. Here there is no guarantee. In 1 second, everything can vanish. You can vanish. Things go here, there. And no one can do anything. People are dying, leaving this dunya, and they will continue to do that. All other illnesses and other things, they are just means which actually happen. So, what I'm trying to convey, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what means it will give us what we really want, much better. So, almost a human being, Muslim, non-Muslim, they want goodness for them, dunya. If they believe in akhirah, they want goodness for there as well. They want big mansions, they want big kingdoms, they want big palaces, they want beautiful companions, they want control, they want rulership, they want gold and silver, they want to look beautiful, etc. All these things. They don't like worries, they don't like anxiety, they don't like problems. Well, that's what Allah wants as well for us. But the real thing, the real deal, not the false deal, like I said last time, is no use actually. It's not wisdom that you are ruling over actually a rubbish dump and fighting over the rubbish. I want this rubbish, you can't take this, I want this. That is what's happening. Sayyidina Ali karramallahu wajhul kareem, he said that dunya jifa. Dunya is like a dead animal, but is jifa, that's what it means. Worse than like a rubbish, actually, that we are filthy, dead, smelly meat is lying. We want to rule over that. That's my share, that's your share, and we are fighting over it. Intelligent man, wise man would not fight over it. He would say, oh, the filthy thing they are fighting over, and they can have all. That's how awliya Allah and anbiya. The governments they did, the rulership they did, like Sayyidina Usman ibn Affan, for only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the betterment of people. Not that they had their own ego in play. Oh yeah, I want, it will be a buzz to rule people. It will be a buzz to actually have this protocol of Prime Minister. This is petty things. These are petty things. And from that we can learn from, for example, Sayyidina Usman radi Allah ta'ala, this fact actually, that this protocol, these things were not in the wildest dreams as well. So if they, Anbiya and Sahaba Ikram and Awliya, they governed also for Allah and for the benefit of people and not for themselves. We go for our prestige, mera naam ban jayega, main MP ban jaunga, main Prime Minister ban jaunga. This मैं, actually, I is finished. इसलिए कहते हैं अभी कुर्बानी के दिन मैं बकरी करती है उसको ज़बा हो जाती है, जो ज़्यादा मैं करती है वो उसी वक्त उसको कहती है इसको तो किनारे लगाओ, ये मैं कर रही है. तो बंदा भी जब मैं करता है, these days are numbered. Meaning when I, me and myself are my best friends and no one else is. Me, I, myself, यही उसके best friend है. And days are numbered, how actually soon they will finish off actually. So just one example from Sayyidina, how their mindset was. In the last Hajj, before his martyrdom, Sayyidina Usman radi Allah ta'ala anhu did, and Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radi Allah anhu was with him. He also did Hajj. He was the ruler of Syria province. That was a province, it was not a country. These countries you see, these are not countries, 56. They were like actually just given, firstly the Khilafah was whole Khilafah. Like Sayyidina Umar time, Sayyidina Usman radiallahu anhu time, and other. They were just actually divided in people. The British Empire, the other one, the French, or other, because they toppled the regime, the Khilafah, and then they said, okay, whoever is loyal to us, give him this, give him Syria, give him this, and they all. So the majority of those people were rulers who were really against the Khilafah, who actually betrayed Islam and the people and the Khilafah as well. That is why still they are not implementing Islam. That is the basic reason, because they were never meant to be. Otherwise, Hazrat Umar radi Allah anhu, he implemented Islam, Hazrat Usman, Sayyidina Ali, Imam Hassan, and then after kingdoms came, but they also did. Khilafat Usmaniya also had rules implemented, fiqh Hanafi was actually implemented. But when these were given, Bandar Band, jisko kehte hain, 50 say here, there, here you are, they were puppets. So they never liked Islam or anything. So that's why up to now, 50, 60, 70 years ago, they don't want to actually, you may say, implement Islam, because they were never given for that. That's what their deal. Anyway, last Hajj, Sayyidina Usman radi Allah anhu was such a caliph, living in Medina Sharif, and we went to Cyprus few years ago. There, when we went to Cyprus, there was sea, and we were going to Cyprus, and this, as you know, there is surrounded by sea, but just on the bank of the sea, the waves were coming splashing, and as going back, there was like a tomb, a stone type, a tomb made. We thought it's like to do with the sea, but we went near. It was written that this is the blessed graves of 7 companions who came in the time of Sayyidina Usman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu to propagate Islam in Europe. At that time they came from Arabs to Europe, and they passed away here. That was the, you may say, areas, how vast actually. So just to give you an example, Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiyallahu anhu, he was a great politician, and actually at that time one of the companions, and ruled with strength. And so he, on the last Hajj, he said to, just 1 year before the month, he said to Sayyidina Usman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that my first proposal is, so he came from Mecca to Medina, and then was sitting with Hazrat Usman, because he was one of the, you must say, governors of Sayyidina Usman ibn Affan. He was a governor in Syria. Hazrat Usman was the Caliph of all the Muslim world. So he said, well, what I have seen here, to me it is him, because he was a great politician and could see things happening. So he said, something is wrong, and it will be a great danger for you. If you actually permit, I want to submit a proposal. Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala said, I want to submit a proposal. What? He said, my first proposal is that you accompany me to Syria, as it is a peaceful there in every aspect. There is no disorder whatsoever. I fear that if disorder suddenly arises, we may not be able to make any arrangements at that time. Hazrat Usman, look, the wisdom of Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah, he was knowing that there is disorder, there is rebelliousness going to come. That came after 1 year almost. But he could see, he could know. So he said, my proposal is that we take the caliphate to Syria, and you will be safe there. Here I fear you. Hazrat Usman said, I cannot leave the neighborhood of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam under any circumstance, even if my body is torn into pieces. You see, these people have different mindsets. So he is saying, yeah, I am, okay, thank you for your proposal, but I am living in Madinatul Munawwara. I lived all my life here. I would not leave neighborhood of Rasulullah, because his house was opposite to the house of the Prophet ﷺ. So he said, I won't want to, even my body is torn into pieces, I am not. Okay, Hazrat Amir Muawiyah radiyallahu anhu said, okay, then my second proposal is that you grant me permission to send an army of commandos of the Syrian army for your protection. No one shall be able to make mischief in its presence. So the second, he said, okay, if you do not come with me, I can send an army which will protect you. Because Sayyidina Usman Ghani, he ruled with love. Like they had no protocol, no protection, no security guard, nothing like this actually. They never heard about these things. So this protection and thing. Hazrat Umar radi Allah alone was going here, there. So they didn't have this kind of thing. So Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radi Allah anhu said that, grant me permission to send a force of military force from Syria which will protect, if anything happens, they will protect you. Sayyidina Usman, look at the Sayyidina Usman radi Allah mind. He said, neither can I burden the public funds, the Baitul Mal, to such an extent in order to safeguard my life of Usman, nor can I tolerate putting the people of Medina to difficulty by maintaining a military presence. So look at his mindset. He's saying that just to protect me, an individual, you will use so much public fund, I don't think it's right. And plus, to maintain the army for people of Medina. Then Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, upon hearing this, he said, my third proposal is that you send off the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to various countries, because in their presence, people possess the courage to assume that if you do not remain, someone else may be put forward instead of you. So he said that send the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to various countries. That will help to actually put order or actually to avoid it. So Hazrat Usman radiallahu anhu said, how is it possible for me to scatter those whom the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has gathered? He said, I will not send them. They like to live in Medina. So upon hearing this, Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu began to weep, that he didn't accept any proposal. Weep that how soft and gentle and loving and caring personality he is, that he is putting his own life in danger, but not actually burdening the public with him. So Hazrat Muawiyah began to weep and submitted, if you do not accept any of these strategies which I have proposed for you, your protection, then at least announce to the people, at least make an announcement in all people, because they all knew Amir Muawiyah was actually a strong and actually had a strict regime. So he said, make this announcement, if any harm comes to me, then Muawiyah shall possess the right to retaliate on my behalf, because this will put people in this place as well. Perhaps people shall refrain from making mischief in fear. Hazrat Usman radiallahu anhu said, he replied, Muawiyah, what is to happen will surely come to pass. I cannot grant this permission since you possess a stern disposition. You have a hard line. People fear you. Hazrat Usman said to Hazrat Muawiyah that he possessed a stern disposition and may treat the Muslims harshly. Thereupon Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu anhu said, he stood up weeping and said, I fear this may be our last meeting. When he stepped outside, he said to the companion, the fate of Islam rests upon you. Hazrat Usman has now fallen very weak. Disorder is escalating. Please do look after him. After saying this, he left off to Syria. So imagine from this we can also learn the welfare actually which Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu offered, and also we can learn how Hazrat Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu actually answered and what their mindset was actually. So exactly after 1 year, like in the next Dhul Hijjah, before that people came and to start this mischief happened, and actually still although Sayyidina Usman radiallahu did not permit Hazrat Muawiyah, but he still actually took upon him to revenge for his actually martyrdom after him. Anyway, now coming to Sayyidina Usman radiallahu anhu, he had a very high degree, many qualities, but very high degree of modesty, of haya. And the Prophet of Islam said, every ummah has a distinct distinct quality, a banner, every ummah. My ummah, the banner of my ummah, the distinct quality of my ummah is haya, modesty. This is the one. And Sayyidina Usman radi Allah anhu possessed it at a very high level, so much so that once it is said that Sayyidina Usman ibn Affan radi Allah anhu was living in Medina. Obviously he was related to the Prophet ﷺ. So he ﷺ was resting in his blessed home. al-Mu'mineen Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq came and they sat and talked with the Prophet Islam. Prophet Islam was lying down. Then Hazrat Umar came. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was still lying down and they were talking. Because they were not only companions, they were his disciples, they were his friends as well. Then actually door knocked and someone said it is Usman. Now Rasulullah said to our mother Aisha Siddiqa that you should go behind the veil, and also he stood up, sat up whilst he was, and actually also he took up on his clothes actually as well. He corrected his clothes and sat up. And then Hazrat Usman came, he said certain thing and then went. Our mother al-Mu'mineen Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu anha says that I asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr came, you stayed in the same position and talked with them. Umar came, but Usman came. You actually changed the position. And he said Usman is a man of very high degree of haya. Usman is such that even Allah actually does haya from him. Angels do haya from him. I see. Angels, malaika. And if I was in this position lying down and Sayyidina Usman radiallahu anhu came, he would not been able to speak. He would not been able to say what he wanted to say. This is his shyness in his nature is such. So imagine the status of haya which he felt. Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned the malaika, the angels also practice haya. It's such high degree that they also credit him and look at him with a great honor of haya. So someone asked Sayyidina Usman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that this haya which you have, how did you attain it? And can we attain it as well? He said, yes, you can attain it as well, if you want. I'll mention the method and you can also. He, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, said that what you see from me, that my tongue is free. It's not free. It is tied. I have tied it. You can't see. But where it is tied to? It is tied to the command of Allah. Allah's command is ruling my tongue. Otherwise, it doesn't speak. It doesn't actually speak. When I want to open, when I want to speak, firstly, I come into the presence of Allah, and second, I look at the command of Allah. The command of Allah is to speak or not in this scenario. Then I open it. Similarly, he said, my eyes are sealed. You are not seeing it. They are also tied. They are also sealed. I only open them, glance at things, coming into the presence of Allah, and then see what's the command of Allah, and according to that. And this quality was very, very high in him, so much so that his spirituality, his basira, his inner light was such that when once he was giving khutbah of Jummah, Friday, khutbah. And a man came into the masjid walking the streets. Sayyidina Usman radi Allah anhu could see that whilst coming to the masjid, his eyes have been soiled with zina. His eyes have effects of zina. He have looked somewhere with wrong intentions whilst coming to the masjid, to a woman or girl, whatever. Now he did not know, obviously, that person, but Usman radi Allah anhu could see. But he did not pinpoint as well, or point him out, oh, this is what he has done, or anything. That's not the way of Anbiya and Awliya and Sahaba. So he just said generally, he changed the topic. He said, what's up with people that zina is being seen is pouring down from their eyes. The effect of the zina is evident from the eyes of people. What are they doing? To the house of Allah they are coming. So he had this quality, this nur, basira. And as the Prophet ﷺ, ittaqu firasatul mu'min, fear, be aware that from the basira, from the firasa, from the wisdom, from the enlightenment of our life. فَإِنَّهُ يَنْظُرُ بِنُورِ اللَّهِ, because he sees with the light given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that is also a quality in them that they also are very sattar, because they reflect the quality of Allah, covering. They don't actually manage. We are gossiping, even we do not know, found someone, like a tail of a donkey, and we made whole donkey out of it. Or actually found one message and then making a story out of it. Finding one thing and doing whole actually marriage out of it. So, and these are the people who know sometimes things, and it's as though they don't know, who would conceal things. So he said, this is the thing about my eyes. And he said, ears, my ears are blocked. If you want haya, ears are blocked. They are blocked, and the opening is in the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Azza wa Jal. Allah Jal Mahal the command. Similarly, he says, my hands are tied with the command of Allah. My legs are tied with the command of Allah. My stomach is tied with the command of Allah. My mind, he says, you are seeing my mind. I don't let it think here and there, go here and there. I come into the presence of Allah, and how Allah wants me to think, I think like that. Otherwise, how my master, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have taught us. That's it. He said, my heart is not my heart. It is given by Allah. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. So I don't let anything enter it. I don't let anything enter it other than if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows. Command. This tying, in Arabic, the word is used abd. Abd means the one who is tied, who is slave. So slavery to what? उर्दू में कहते हैं बंदा. बंदे का भी मतलब है वही जो सैयदना उस्मान रदी अल्लाह अन्हु फरमा रहे हैं, यानी कि हया कैसे हासिल हो सकती है, अब मैं तुम्हें भी हासिल हो सकती है. मेरी आंखें बंदी हुई हैं अल्लाह के हुक्म से, जुबान बंदी हुई है अल्लाह के हुक्म से, कान अल्लाह के हुक्म से बंधे हुए हैं, हाथ भी अल्लाह के हुक्म से बंधे हुए हैं, पाँव भी, सोच भी. तो जब इस्तेमाल करता हूँ मैं, तो मैं पहले सोचता हूँ अल्लाह मेरे साथ है, देख रहा है, फिर सोचता हूँ अल्लाह मुझसे क्या चाहता है, जितना अल्लाह चाहता है वो मैं करता हूँ, वो मैं खोलता हूँ उस चीज़ को. इसी को कहते हैं बंदा. फारसी लफ्ज़ उर्दू में यूज़ भी होता है. बंदा मतलब बंधा हुआ, जैसे ये ना रस्सी से बांध देते हैं, उसको कहते हैं, वहाँ से निकला लफ्ज़ बंदा, कि बंदा वो है कि जिसकी हर चीज़ जो है ज़ुबान, कान अल्लाह के हुक्म के साथ बांधी हुई है, ये आज़ाद नहीं है, उसको कहते हैं बंदा. हम कहते थे हम अल्लाह के बंदे हैं, लेकिन अमली तो वह शैतान के बंदे, उसके साथ बंधी हुई है. वो डोरी उधर से लाता है, हमें गुस्सा आ जाता है. Like some of the wise people say, anger, hatred, ये जो ना गुस्सा ना करो, नफरत ना करो, हम तो बड़े जी पहलवान हैं, हम तो करेंगे. The wise people say that nurturing anger, nurturing hatred is like drinking poison yourself and expecting other to die. That is what it is. So wise people, हुकामा, वो कहते हैं कि ये जो बोझ हम पाके हसद पालते हैं, नफरत पाल रहे हैं एक दूसरे से, हम तो समझते हैं कि हम बड़ा बहादुर हैं। फरमाते हैं ये इसकी मिसाल ऐसे है कि जहर खुद पी के और तवक्को करना कि अब दूसरा मर जाएगा। भाई जिसने पिया है वही मरेगा ना। तो नफरत का घूंट आपने पिया है, गुस्से का घूंट आपने, तो आप ही ने सफ़र करना है, दूसरे नहीं सफ़र करना। दूसरा तो मौज में, वो तो खुश है, उसके तो हंसी नहीं रुक रही, आप तड़प रहे हैं। वो तो आपका फिरा हुआ है कि आप समझते हैं कि मैं वो नफरत पाल रहा हूँ, हसद कर रहा हूँ। हसद वाला अपनी आग में खुद जल रहा है। सो पुटिंग फायर टू योरसेल्फ एंड एक्सपेक्टिंग अदर टू बर्न। कितना ही अक्लमंद तरीका है, कितना सियाना सोच है, अच्छी सोच है कि अपने आप को आग लगा के और समझना कि दूसरा जलेगा। नहीं, जिसको आग लगी है वही, हसद की आग लगी है, आप खुद ही जलेंगे। वो उसके अंदर है, वो जहर है। इस पॉइजन इज गोइंग टू हार्म यू। डोंट, लेकिन हम ये मैं गुस्से में हूँ, मैं हसद में हूँ, ये हूँ वो हूँ, एंड थिंकिंग अदर इज गोइंग टू डाई और अदर इज गोइंग टू बर्न। उसको क्या ज़रूरत है, वो तो खुश हो रहा होगा। तो इसलिए अपना ही नुकसान है। इसलिए किसी से हसद, बोग़्ज़ और गैर मतलब यानी गुस्सा भी जो है अल्लाह की रज़ा के लिए करना चाहिए। सो सैयदना उस्मान रज़ी अल्लाह अन्हु, he said that if you practice like this, you will also have haya. But if you leave everything free, कि आप तो मुफ्त के हैं, आप तो हायर पर हैं, you know, वैन अन हायर, टैक्सी अन हायर और फोन अन हायर, जो मर्जी आके हायर कर ले जाए। नहीं, इज दैट इज आवर स्टेटस कि हम हायर पे हैं कि अल्लाह के बंदे हैं। अल्लाह अब्द मीन्स स्लेव ऑफ अल्लाह, ही इज सोल्ड टू अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला। अल्लाह हैज बॉट हिम, ही इज नॉट फॉर हायर, ही इज नॉट फॉर हायर। हम हायर, शैतान आता है, वो कहता है चलो यार 10 मिनट देना, मैंने आपको गुस्सा दिलाना है और फलाने को मारना है, 2-4 गालियां दें, चलो ठीक है। इधर कोई और आता है बुरा, someone evil comes, he said, well I want to hire you for a day, how about it? Yeah, that's fine, let's go. This is, we are behaving like taxis. हमको टैक्सी थोड़ी हम अल्लाह, यानी you should actually learn, you should realize your honor कि you are not a taxi, you are not for hire, you are already sold. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, inna Allah ashtara min al-mu'minin anfusahum amwalahum bianna lahum al-jannah. Allah says, I have already bought you, your wealth, your lives in return for Jannah. You are not for hire. वो किसी और शैतान को कहो, I am not for hire. I have been sold to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. मुझे उन्होंने खरीद लिया है, मैं उनकी गुलामी में आ गया। End of the story. You are too late. आप बहुत देर से आए हैं, मैंने सौदा कर दिया है। This is not good कि भाई जो अब नफ्स आएगा, ईगो comes, oh I want to hire you, गुस्सा ये कर दो, वो कर दो। नहीं नहीं, I am not on hire anyone. देखो मैं, I have my self respect which Allah has given me. I am not, वो दुनिया comes, I want to hire you. No, say no, I am not for hire. I am already sold to an honorable king, and my buyer is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. End of the story. They are going to bless me. Otherwise, I am not going to dishonor myself, put myself down, belittle myself, actually being a higher. ये होती है, ये ज़लालत है. This is dishonor of humanity, of yourself. You are dishonoring you, meaning destroying your self-respect, putting yourself on higher. ये कोई अच्छी चीज़ है कि आप किराए पे अपने आप को लगाया हुआ है, जो आया किराए के कातलों की तरह ले जाए, यहाँ इस बंदे को मारना है, इस बंदे को गाली देनी है, इस बंदे को ये करना है। आप किराए पर नहीं है, आपको ख़रीद दिया गया है, पहले ही अल्लाह ने ख़रीद लिया है, नबी अलैहिस्सलाम ने ख़रीद लिया, अनाउंसमेंट कर गया। अब आप कहें जो भी आता है, शैतान आता है, नफ्स आते हैं, दुनिया आती है, कोई आप कहें कि मैं किराए पे नहीं हूँ, आई एम नॉट अवेलेबल फॉर हायर, आई हैव ऑलरेडी बीन सोल्ड। फिर तो उसको भी पता है कि नहीं भाई हम, ये तो बंदा नहीं है, अभी देयर इज नथिंग गोइंग ऑन। एंड इफ़ यू आर ऑलरेडी वेटिंग कि भाई कब मुझे वो कहता है मैं चलूँ, तो फिर वो ले जाएगा आपको टूर पे, Sometimes the tour of zina, sometimes fisk, sometimes fraud, sometimes disorder, sometimes mischief, racism. And countless other lessons from his life, but this is one of the unique lessons from his life. And also, last lesson I would give from his blessed life. As you know, he served Allah Azza wa Jal, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the ummah of the Prophet of Islam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, Sayyidina Umar Farooq, and himself also ruling for 12 years or so. But what did people do? Martyred him. Didn't consider any good. What's the lesson for me and you? The lesson is, don't do things for people. If they did not value Sayyidina Usman, who did everything, who was a companion, who bought wells and left it for Muslims to use, he spent money for jihad, he was always giving sadaqah, his waqf is still continuing. If you go in Medina Sharif, on many hotels you will see the board written Al-Waqf by Usman ibn Affan. Now his bank account is running, poor people are benefiting, others are benefiting. Even now, such generous person, such generosity that 14 years after his bank account, his wealth is benefiting the poor. Itna. And what did people do? Killed him in front of his wife, also cut her fingers, in front of the Quran, whilst he was fasting. So this is the lesson. Don't live this life just for pleasing people, and actually for people. Do the good amal and benefit people for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reward will be safe. He will value you, appreciate you. And today people will take you to seventh sky and then actually throw you to the seventh earth. You know, in social media you see other things, you see how actually people trend, change and things. तो ये अल्लाह पाक मुझे भी और आपको भी उनका फैज़ और अमल की तौफीक अता फरमाए. Also there is a Salih Sawab Majlis today from our brother Shahid. May Allah have mercy upon him. He used to come here to the Majlis and he passed away recently, and also his best father. Similarly, that's the case we're going to be. As we are looking, it as though Shahid has passed. We will pass as well. One day this announcement will come, or this brother ABC have passed. Yeah, सही होना है. तो इसलिए खूब तैयारी करें और यानी इंशाल्लाह, then you won't regret.
As the blessed teacher said, if we want to take that for a higher sign off and really show that we are sold to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that we want to really make sure our organs are entwined with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, that on the wall is really the path. So if any brothers are interested in that, if they come and see myself afterwards, and there will be a couple of brothers, Brother Fasad, Brother Snain, Brother Abdul Rahman, who will sit down with you and then show you really the path as outlined towards gaining that haya, that modesty that has been talked about. Also, if any brothers have any other kind of brothers or sisters, marriage problems, laziness, khushu in salah, we can't concentrate, all of these issues, whether you've got spiritual issues, physical issues, mental issues, we have ustads who are sitting here tonight and can help you with these problems. So again, please come see myself, put your name down, and let's make a start on resolving these problems.